So we'll see if they can turn this pattern around and bring it to a game 3. Potentially take the series here.
Radiant team ban.
But for right now, Winstrike looking to get the 2-0. Tiny and Disruptor here for them as they ban out the Troll, Enchantress, Ancient Apparition, as well as the Puck. Timber banned, as is the Chen, Mars, and Morphling. And they finally ban that Huskar. So, Huskar getting banned out. Don't want any of that cheese pick that T was talking about.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So we'll see what they final ban here in the second phase for the side of Cyber Legacy going into this one. If this Void Spirit's going to be an off-lane Void Spirit, or if we're going to see a mid-Void Spirit once again. Definitely options available for the side of Cyber Legacy, as they also have this Oracle ready to go. That save potential, especially with that Ancient Apparition banned out. You know you needed to ban that Huskar and get that out of here. And now they go to the Huskar once again. So Ricky picked up. That should be a safe lane Ricky. Still could be a mid-Void Spirit. See what Winstrike want to do. The Tiny from TSA worked out really well for them in the previous game. Wouldn't be surprised to see him on it once again and have Kakid on the Disruptor. So you do have, potential lockdown with Kinetic Field, Glimpse, Static Storm there to really help out inside of your team fights, as well as moving over with the Tiny to do what he can to get the Avalanche as well as the Toss. We saw it a bunch of times in the previous game with the Avalanche as well as the Toss, where, it seemed like they were almost tossing for the sake of it. And really from there, it was just some bit of harassment, and now they go to the Beastmaster. So they do have their 3-4-5 here. Beastmaster going to give you some pressure potential with these, with these boars, and have that Primal Roar available to you pretty early on. It does a lot of damage early too with multiple boars. So you get 2 boars out, and all of a sudden, I feel like you really need to be a little bit careful about not only your positioning, but how aggressive you want to be. And, you could find yourself in a bit of trouble if you're not too careful. So let's see what they pick up here for Cyber Legacy, as it looks as though they still could use an offlaner or a mid. They go to the Rubik, so they've got their 2 supports, their Rubik as well as the Oracle. Was a little on the Rubik in the previous game with Oracle. Now probably being played by Bignum in the 5 position, as Bignum was the 4 prior to Lil being here. It looks like that they've swapped those roles.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So we'll see what Winstrike want to do, as they need a mid and a safe laner. Lifestealer is still available to you. In terms of mid, you've got a lot of options here, like the Shadow Fiend, who will be dealing with a little bit differently of a scenario here than we've been seeing previously. It's usually been like the Shadow Fiend with the Clockwork, but this time around, it looks as though it should be just races early instead of the passive. So have that Shadow Fiend over mid. They need a safe laner here for Winstrike. I believe they think the Void Spirit might be in the mid lane.
10 seconds
But again, it could be their off laner based on what they've got so far. They'll ban out that Lifestealer hero that I was thinking that they might want to pick for the side of Winstrike. we'll see what they can get done here as they ban out that Sardar, the off laner, and then go to the Faceless Void in the safe lane. So control here, it does allow the Requiem to go off. I think it's a pretty good lineup here for Winstrike, honestly.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Templar assassin.
You may now select your heroes.
So they go to the TA mid here for Cyber Legacy. TA is definitely a hero that I thought would be a lot more contested over the entire day, but it's only the second time I think we've seen it today. I believe we saw it in the first game, and could be the last game we see it here today for Cyber Legacy, who do have a best of 3 tomorrow. Winstrike have 2 BO3s. They're up against aggressive mode, then 4s against Cyber Legacy, and then Winstrike against Fly to Moon. So another couple of BO3s tomorrow.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So Pikachu on that TA, Lil on the Rubik, Plantimos on the Ricky, Chappie on that offlane, Void Spirit, Bingham playing the Oracle, and you've got the Void with Young G on the Shadow Fiend, DK Focus on the Beastmaster, Kakid on the Disruptor, and TSA back on the Tiny, giving you Tiny Airlines. So game 2 here, we'll see if Winstrike can take the 2-0. Potentially. Here we go as we're off to the races in this last best of 3. Again, Winstrike with that 1-0 lead. We'll see how they're able to, or what they're able to get done here. And they, go to the races, level 1, no surprise. Was thinking Necromastery if you had the Clockwork, which we have been seeing, those early denies on the Clockwork Cogs. Apparently Cogs have souls, so that's how that was working. Get those 12 souls early, and then be at an advantage to start the lane up.
Now that's more like it. I'm ecstatic. What weathermancery is this? A rolling stone.
30 seconds to battle.
So we'll see how these bounty runes go. It's seemingly all day been just 2 apiece. No contest from one team on each side, and it's just been constantly that 2 for 2. But TSA coming over with DK Focus as well as Kakid. They look over at Palantimos to start. TSA has tossed. Look at the toss out on a Palantimos, and now he'll Blink Strike away with the Fortune's End. He's backed off to get multiple bounty runes here for Winstrike, and it looks like it's going to be at least 3. Nobody getting this 4th one just yet, but a 3 for 0 so far.
A rolling stone.
So we'll see how this ends up going through, as at least for now. I mean, there's that slight advantage overall, thanks to the bounty runes. We'll see who gets first blood, if it's going to take us like 6 minutes to get there. In terms of how I could see it going, I mean, there's definitely more opportunity in this top lane than there was in game 1. Winstrike forward, aggressively going after DK Focus. All the while, TSA just trying to always try to drag this creep wave all the way over. He's got the first item boots, so he's going to bring it all the way to the tier 2 tower, or in between the tier 1 and the tier 2.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Kakid will lose his courier to Lil. Comes through and, you know, sitting pretty low considering the fact that he has just eaten a bunch of shots from the Thunderstrike, so we'll see if he tries to stop this clarity. It looks like he might be able to do so. Yeah, all right. That right click comes in. He doesn't have enough mana to throw a Thunderstrike at Lil once again. Not that that will get him a kill, but definitely would have been quite the nuisance to deal with right now. As now Chappie just trying to make sure that they're unable to get this range creep, as is Lil. We'll see if they're not even going to try and go for it. Easy deny coming in for Chappie, so a lot of control on those range creeps is something that you want to see within your lane. It's something that I've heard my analysts reiterate time and time again. And they're just constantly taking out these boars. Fortune's End comes in. The last right click coming out from Plantimos. You know, not an easy game by any means here for the Beastmaster. But again, TSA looking to cut this creep wave. Held that Fortune's End for a while. It roots him up. And can he get the pull on it? Ooh, look at the range creep. I think the Tiny keeps it close as they will get the deny on the range creep. So multiple lanes getting those range creep denies out for the side of Cyber Legacy. Telekinesis. There's an impulse coming in. And not really too much the Faceless Void can do here early. It's just more about the harassment that Kakid's throwing their way. He's got that level 1 into the Thunderstrike. Again, Lil potentially looking to come on over and find himself a courier, as you will see this courier come on over with this vision. But first blood comes in as they get the kill into the Beastmaster. DK Focus ends up dead as Bignum gets credit for that one and will get even more gold with this boar once again. Constant influx of gold coming through. Time log forward. Hoping to grab a bash, but I believe Telekinesis and Aether Remnant were lined up together. So they stacked their stuns and were unable to continue to go in on the Void. Just making sure that he doesn't dive in deeper for the Void Spirit, as we see Disruptor again just taking a bunch of damage early on. Fadebolt getting thrown there by Lil. And he's sitting okay in terms of the amount of mana he's got. Take a look over mid. Oh, matchup we haven't really looked at all so far. Young G 6 denies, sitting ahead so up to this point. 3 and 2 builds so far for the Shadow Fiend. See how much Pikachu is able to lay into him. Has 3 into the Refraction, 2 into the Psyblades, but at the moment just a little bit short of having the Refraction back up and available, as that's going to run out, but it runs out right as he picks up the mana for it. He'll pop it, so this Pikachu TA is for the moment, and Bignum now getting killed there by TSA over towards top. TA pops the mango, and Young G thinking about whether or not he can go in onto this TA. So just one apiece so far, 32 and 7 of the 30 and 2 over mid. We take a look towards top as Beastmaster sitting 14 and 1. I mean, compare that to the Void Spirit of 27 and 2. It is really not going that well, as now Disruptor Kakid on the run He'll end up dead. Can they at least get a bash here on a Chappie? If he just gets one bash, he probably gets that kill. But apparently, 12% of the time, just will never proc. Tiny up top. Purifying Flames won't be enough to get the kill here on a TSA. But they are doing a lot of damage in all these lanes for the side of Cyber Legacy. They've kept the net worth pretty close so far. Void behind the Ricky by 2 denies. CS is about even. It's really the off lane that's excelling right now for Cyber Legacy at 31-2 compared to the 18-2 for the Beastmaster. We go a little bit later down the line when Winstrike have the Primal Roar to deal with, Avalanche Toss, Chronosphere, the Lockdown. They really can put together here. It could be a problem for Cyber Legacy. We're dealing with Fortune's End as well as the Telekinesis and Aether Remnant, if that. So they still have to land all those skills, and they'll get another kill here on a Kakid towards bottom. As Chappie gets credit for yet another, and then they lose the Oracle top. Tricks the trade comes out. I feel like he's thinking about going in on a DK Fogus. He'll at least kill the boar and back off as he is sitting level 6. So, into the Cloak and Dagger where they don't have a Sentry Ward here for the side of the Radiant. Take a look over at Shadow Fiend. Gets the Keen Optic. He's pretty happy with where he's at right now. Bashes come in, but the Resonant Pulse, with the help of the Oracle, they're able to get the kill into the Faceless Void, and Cyber Legacy, they make a big kill there onto this Void. And, again, it's another kill over towards bottom where Chappie sent 1-0-2 on this Void Spirit, having a very nice time. TSA shows himself towards bottom. Meanwhile, you've got 2 supports just roaming through the jungle, potentially coming over towards mid, where they're going to look for a kill onto the Shadow Fiend, who is out of the lane right now. Looks over, Sentry Ward placed where the rune would be. It's going to spawn in 2 seconds if he gets it, and it will be a double damage. So how willing are they to try to go after Young C? Or Young G, sorry. Winstrike, Kinetic Field. And they've got the Glimpse back, so he'll be able to survive. He'll pop that double damage. Maybe thinking about going in, but again, they don't have any lockdown to work with this. Will comes over and still has that minus armor thanks to the Melt Strike, as Cyber Legacy really taking over on this part of the map towards mid. So the thing about it is they play that heavy posture right there, chasing a little bit behind the Shadow Fiend. Doesn't exactly turn into much for them. It opens up a little bit of space here for the Void. Scan comes in from the Dire, and Beastmaster, he's very dead. He's no way out of this one, and it's surprising to me how the Radiant are allowing that to happen. I think Lil and Bignum have been roaming around by themselves for quite some time, and that they're off the map. To just get pegged out like that feels like bad positioning overall, and just not realizing that these heroes are coming all the way across the map as they have been for the last 2 minutes or so. So Chronosphere available. Iron Talon picked up here by the Faceless Void. Also has that wand coming in. Got Shadow Fiend now level 9, so he finally picks up a level into the Requiem. Got all 36 souls ready to go. Chronosphere committed top. And, they'll use the Primal Roar. Chronosphere doesn't get them that kill onto the Ricky. I guess it gets the Oracle, but I feel like that didn't exactly need a Chronosphere to go along with it. So now they can pressure through top. 1,000 lead right, or 1,000 net worth lead right now for the side of Cyber Legacy. Trap slowing down Young G and will have his raise stolen. Got the toss back into the Requiem. They kill off TSA, but they lose Lil. It's a trade there where Pikachu gets some farm and a little bit more gold there for Young G overall. Gets them into their drums, and I guess Shadow Fiend is happy with that one as he's sitting 1-0-0. He's got 100 last hits already to this point, and they're just trying to make some space already for this Faceless Void who's got 1,100 gold saved up. We'll see if he ends up going into a Maelstrom or something of the sort. Smoke to rotate towards bottom with the Void Spirit, who's right now at least going towards that urn and potentially the Spirit Vessel afterwards.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Chrono's still a long cooldown, but they should be able to get this tier 1 tower. They've got the boars, they'll have the Hawk for vision. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend, he is invis here. Throws some raises out, and immediately that gets pinged away.
Radiant structures
But
are
Palantimos
Radiant's bottom tower
playing
is
this
under
as
attack.
cautiously as possible. Maybe thinking about jumping in on that. They do have telekinesis as well as the Fortune's End. Make Young G's life a little bit difficult here as raises come in and clear up some creeps. Elf Chronosphere up in 13 is continuing to farm towards stop going into the Diffusal Blade, not the Maelstrom. Is this Void looking to make a move and get ready to go?
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
So Avalanche as well as the toss. He's level 6, so he does have False Promise. They don't force him to use it. They've got the Astral Step forward as well as the Static Storm being used. They've got the TA locked up in silence. Phogos, he tries to get this Primal Roar off, but Cyber Legacy, they get the kill on the Young G. They also get keyed. Now, can they at least get the kill onto Pikachu? They don't have the damage. I mean, it feels like if Void was involved in that, they're not losing 4 here for the price of none. They don't even get the kill into the Oracle. They'll go make Faceless Void time walk to the other side in the mid lane, but 4 kills for the side of Cyber Legacy. So Diffusal almost finished up on this, Ricky. Void 1,000 net worth behind almost. I mean, he is slow on the ball right now.
Twice the measure of power.
Experience heavily in the side of Cyber Legacy's favor, giving them about a 76% chance to win this. Gets that Diffusal Blade, and it's an easy kill there onto the Disruptor. I think things just got very hard, and I truthfully think unless Winstrike really find a way out of this, find a good Chronosphere, find a good team fight, that this game, we're heading to a game 3. It's going to take a lot here to line up a comeback for the side of Winstrike. They need this Diffusal Blade desperately on the Faceless Void, and they need to work with the Chronosphere as well as the Requiem. I mean, that fight was probably ill-advised, and TSA, I don't know why he's going in here. You know the Ricky's got that Diffusal, you know he could blow you up, and it's easily done as Palantimos gets the kill onto TSA, now bumping it up to a 5,000 net worth lead. And they'll just find the Void. I mean, Void's trying to farm, but an easy kill here. Nobody's protecting him. Nobody over bottom. He's just been free farming here bottom the entire time. That'll finish off the Euls for the Void Spirit. And now it's just spiraling out of control.
structures are fortified.
So
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Deso coming through. With the Blink Dagger available for the TA, we'll clean up the tier 1 over mid.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Pressure being felt from Cyber Legacy. This would be only their second win in this group stage. You need to be careful. Telekinesis would probably kill this Void. They've got the Fortune Zen on top of it. They'll get the Silence out. They'll get the kill onto the Void. No way out of that one, so they take out at least one. They've got the toss here onto Chappie, but no real way to lock him up. Kinetic Field as well as the Static Storm, but the False Promise is there, so they've got the save. The Primal Roar comes out, but there's no follow-up to it, so there's no reason to throw that out, as it looks like you're just going to be looking for nothing and swinging through the air.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Pikachu goes after Roche with the help of this Ricky. They've got the Yules out, and they'll get the kill. The Chronosphere comes in. They get the kill on the Ricky. Can they get the kill on the TA? Into the meld. They'll get... Oh, Roche! Helping out big time, but they get the kill onto this TA. They'll take out 2. They'll buy back on TSA. Can they get one more onto Chappie? They've got the glimpse back onto the Ricky, onto the Rubik. Give them a +1. A triple kill for Young G so far. And now they're in a Roche. And that's what we were talking about, just having the Chronosphere to come in and try and get these kills. Yule's out to simulate. That'll land with the Meld Strike on a Young G. Can't lose your Shadow Fiend here, but they will. And now the buyback looking really worth it. One more shot to kill off this Disruptor. Glimpse to get him away from the Tiny. He ends up just escaping, but it looks like it's going to be a +1 on DK Focus as well as the Aegis. So as much as that fight looked really good for Winstrike, it blows up real quick. And it might even blow up more. Diffusal, Yules, Aether Remnant. They got the kill on the TSA and make it a full team wipe because they ain't getting this Void out of here. So as quickly as they give it or get it back, they give it up.
To the Dire. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Take a look at Chappie. He's got that Yules. I mean, he has felt really strong even prior to the Yules, and they're going to look over towards mid again. And they know that the Shadow Fiend is here. Kinetic Field not going to lock up Chappie. He'll Astral Step to the low ground. They get the kill easily on a DK Focus. And Glimpse back. Static Storm committed onto this as well as the Requiem. This is all to just try and leave, but Pikachu gets the kill there on a Kakid. They'll toss up the Ricky. They just don't have any follow-up damage. Fortune Zen locks up TSA. There's another kill. He doesn't have buyback. And the pressure continues to mount from Cyber Legacy, up 9,000 net worth. And you're looking at a Void who just has Diffusal Blade. He hasn't done much of anything. He's sitting behind all 3 cores on the side of Cyber Legacy, and they have just overrun them so far.
My path leads to riches. That should help.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So go for the tier 1 tower. They'll take it out quickly.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's 11,000 net worth lead, just continuing to extend this TA. Blink Deso going into the BKB. Shadow Fiend, the only one who's got a decent chunk of farm here on the side of Winstrike. I mean, everybody else is falling off very hard. This Void doesn't have much of anything.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Does have Chronosphere up again if they could work with that and get the kill into the TA and maybe, you know, have that long respawn time thanks to the fact that she bought back in the previous fight. Clean 95 seconds would be interesting.
Radiant are scanning. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
My thanks.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
It's 23-7 and Cyber Legacy looking like they're going to win their
Radiant's
second game of the
bottom
group.
tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has
And there's
fallen.
not really much Winstrike can do. They're just so far behind. BKB now available on Pikachu. I wouldn't be surprised if this next fight is the final fight if Cyber Legacy were to win it. TP back, Aether Remnant down. Key just trying to land a Static Storm as well as the Kinetic Field, but has that BKB, and I mean, they need much more, and all the while, I mean, Void, he's back way too late. Give up the tier 3, nobody here to stop them. They don't have the Chronosphere to go in with. He doesn't have a BKB, he just has an Ogreax. Like, he's not going to do anything here. Unless they have the perfect fight. I mean, Cyber Legacy are definitely poised towards winning this game. 13,000 net worth ahead.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Aether Remnant coming forward once again as they pressure and take that tier 2 tower mid.
Has fallen.
They're faking a Requiem because it basically feels like they can do nothing at this point. If Cyber Legacy were to get this victory here, it would be the third series to go BO3. Full BO3. Put us close to a 10-hour day. And there's the Aegis expiring, so we'll see what Cyber Legacy can do. If they can lock this game up and force the series to a third game. As the Void desperately tries to mount together something in terms of an item. Would love to get his hands onto a BKB, but with the pressure coming in from Cyber Legacy, this just doesn't look like a reality. Mules comes out, they've got the Aether Remnant, Tiny dead to rights, 2-shot there by the TA and sent freely back by the Disruptor. And you see that so many times where you're like, alright, well, you know, I want to help my teammate out, get the glimpse, and hopefully they survive, but you know, more often than not, when you're getting 2-shot like that, it's just a free escape. So Void TPing out. Daedalus next for the TA.
Blessings.
Already has that Crystallis, so does that Void. A lot of quick damage coming in from the side of Cyber Legacy that I don't know if Winstrike really, again, have the answer for. If they could get the kill on a Pikachu, that would be great, but I mean, TSA doesn't even have a Blink Dagger yet. He's sitting 4,000 net worth behind this Cherubic.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Rubik's so heavily farmed right now, and just, I mean, catching up to this Beastmaster just about.
Top tower has fallen.
They're trying to get this tier 1 tower, maybe force a rotation that they can
Radiant's top
get a Chronosphere in, but it's the quick trap coming in from Pikachu, so it's so hard for them to even make a way in, especially when Kikid's not with the team. And then one shot, two shot, almost a full kill there on the DK Focus. They get the toss on, and the Void Spirit gets locked up thanks to the Chronosphere, but they still get the kill on the DK Focus. They have the False Promise out, the Stolen Primal Roar. They finally kill Pikachu, who has buyback once again, but they'll take out Young G. And now without the Chronosphere, it looks like things are going to start to fall apart with the Ricky moving forward. He'll get the kill on a Young G as well as TSA. Look for more. Astral step forward. Fortune's End comes in. Down goes the Void. Full team wipe in favor of Cyber Legacy. And all they got out of all that was the TA. $20,000 net worth lead here for Cyber Legacy.
It fills me with nothingness.
They're going to try and pressure mid again. TSA forward. I'm not sure why. He is easily killed. Dead for 40 seconds once again.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Telekinesis comes out. Void's been spotted. There's the Primal Roar that was stolen. They'll get it onto the Void Spirit, so they'll at least trade. They'll potentially look for a second one if they can get the kill to the Ricky. False Promise comes in. They'll buy back on the Void Spirit. 10 seconds till TA is up. False Promise again getting the save as they have not focused this Oracle at all. It's been able to freely get these False Promises out time and time again. At least cuts in as they got the buyback on the Void Spirit, who would be dead for 100 seconds if they were able to kill him a second time. They really need to get this Primal Roar out of the hands of the Rubik. I mean, about 5 seconds buffer on the cooldown. Now are just posturing towards Roche. They finally have the Blink Dagger on a TSA. They have Chronosphere available. Still looking for the BKB. 900 gold away from that. As they smoke and they go towards mid, but little do they know that the Dire are inside their jungle up by the secret shop. So unless they do know and they're making the big wrap around, it's still going to be tough to go onto the high ground from there. They'll push some wards down. They'll find it, but they know that they're right there because they've got a sentry down ready to go. So they'll deward that immediately, and there's the Chronosphere that hits onto the TA. They'll steal the Chronosphere. Look at that from Lil! Absolutely locks Winstrike in their steps, and now this is a big problem. BKB comes in. They've got the Static Storm down on a Pikachu. They take out this Void. They'll look over and take out the Shadow Fiend. Perfect from Lil. Absolutely perfect. And they'll get another kill on a DK Focus. All 3 cores die on the side of Winstrike again, and they get nothing. So they grab Roche, Aegis Cheese. Almost impossible for them to defend without their 3 cores, and well, I mean, they've got to concede at least the tier 3 tower. And Telekinesis Void, you're not allowed to have fun or play Dota. It's out of the smoke screen. He doesn't have Chronosphere, so you know it's a hard defense. Kinetic Field comes out once again, but the Blink Strike allows him to leave. kill there on a DK Focus. Astral step forward. The buyback on the Beastmaster. Start to lose their bottom set of racks as they lost their mid set already. Easily done here by Cyber Legacy, now up 30,000 net worth. Things have kind of spiraled. Go to tier 3 over top, looking to make mega creeps. And they've got the Avalanche as well as the toss with the Requiem. They look to get the kill to the TA, and they do. They'll take that first life away. The BKB gets popped here by Pikachu. The Manta style popped by this SF, but they've already lost DK Focus, and he's down for 70 seconds. And on the backlines, they'll go with the Blink Strike as well as the Tricks of the Trade. Can they get Palantimos? They still don't have Chronosphere for another 3 seconds. Maybe they could work with that, but they've got the Aether Remnant as well as the Static Storm down, not helping. And they'll lose themselves their Void once again. GG will be called, and we're going to a game 3. So, game 3 coming up, 40-10 in favor of Cyber Legacy. Wire-to-wire win for them. 15-1 and 9 for Palantimos. Really never got the ball rolling on the Void 2-8 and 3. I mean, they just got beat in every aspect of the game, and Winstrike, they need to go back to the drawing board to look over at what they could do for game 3 to win this series and not be the first team to drop a series over to Cyber Legacy. They're the second team to drop a game, so, you know, they're on the record for that, but if they drop the series, that would be interesting as well. Winstrike and Cyber Legacy game 3 coming back at you next. We'll be right back.